Star Wars really isn't Star Wars anymore. And no, this isn't the part where I blame Disney or I complain about mainstream culture taking over. It's not that simple, and realistically, it's not even that logical. It's a feeling thing. A feeling that, honestly, I can't fully describe, but I know fans have felt. Growing up, Star Wars had this weird magical mix of exclusivity and inclusivity. Yeah, it was huge even then. Everybody knew it. Everybody had a lightsaber. You saw Star Wars shirts and toys all the time. But somehow it still felt pure. It felt real. It felt like when you saw someone else wearing a Star Wars shirt, that was your person. You were both part of the same little club, even though the whole world technically had the password. Today, that feeling just isn't there. And sure, easy explanation is everything is mass produced now. Everyone wears Star Wars merch. Disney makes thousands of shows, but that's not really it. Like, it feels like something else. One of the biggest things I keep circling back to is the complete lack of a coherent singular story. Star Wars used to feel like one huge saga. Messy, goofy at times, but unified. One galaxy, one myth, one timeline where everything echoed everything else. Now, you can have 3 different shows drop in a single year, all set in different eras, all with different tones, and none of them really carrying any weight. Because nothing is really building towards anything. Nothing feels connected. Nothing feels important. Aside from Andor, which stands out because it actually has something to say, now it just feels like a lot of the stuff that comes out is, and I'll say it, key jangling. Hey, look who's back. Hey, look who's in live action. Oh, hey, look, remember this thing? Fan service is cool, but fan service instead of a story is empty calories, and unfortunately, I know a lot about that. The perfect example is Ahsoka. The most hyped moment in the show wasn't even about the story. It wasn't about Ahsoka's journey. It wasn't about Sabine's journey. It wasn't the emotional arc that the show should have focused on. It was Hayden Christensen returning as Anakin Skywalker, not Anakin Skywalker coming back. It was the actor coming back to play the character after how many ever years. And don't get me wrong, it was awesome to see Hayden Christensen again. It was absolutely awesome, but that became the moment. Not Sabine finally tapping into the Force, not her becoming something more, not the payoff that the story was supposedly building up to with Ahsoka becoming Ahsoka the White. And honestly, Sabine's character, and I'll say it here and now, Ahsoka's character both feel really flat. Baylan Skoll is probably the most developed and fleshed out and well-acted character in the entire show. But he's not even the lead. Now, compare that with one of the most hyped moments from The Mandalorian. And it's not even talking about Luke. I'm talking about something smaller, more grounded, and what felt more classic. You've got Blue Fish Face Guy, Cara Dune, and Greef Karga in the troop transport thing trying to escape the TIE fighters, then boom, Din comes screaming back in the Razor Crest. His theme hits like 1,000 waterfalls, and he saves the day. Or that moment in season 2 when Mando and Mayfield are rescued by the Imperial TIE fighters, and we're relieved, we're cheering, but then we realize, oh crap, we're cheering for the bad guys. And that's the kind of layered storytelling Star Wars used to thrive on. Fun, exciting, but also meaningful. Moments like that feel so rare now. I can't think of a single moment in the Kenobi show where I felt like my younger self was sitting cross-legged on the floor looking up at the TV screen watching Star Wars with wide eyes. And The Acolyte, I've never felt the same dread or awe watching The Stranger that I felt when Darth Vader stepped onto the screen in his first appearance. That specific cocktail of fear, wonder, excitement, mystery, it's just missing. And here, George Lucas always said Star Wars was made for 12-year-olds. And that line gets thrown around constantly, sometimes as an insult, sometimes as a defense. Lately, I've been thinking about it differently. Because when I watch modern Star Wars, whether it's a new show or whether I'm playing a game or action figures come out, whatever it may be, my adult self and my inner 12-year-old self don't even sync up anymore. They don't celebrate together. They kind of feel separate. Or maybe that's the problem. Maybe Star Wars isn't written with a unified soul anymore. Maybe it's written by a committee, written for algorithms, written for trending hashtags, written for content creators who are going to do reviews and try to get people to watch the shows. Whatever the reason, that indescribable feeling the one that hit your chest the first time you saw a lightsaber ignite, the first time the Force theme swelled up. It's fading. Not gone, not dead, but it's fading. And until Star Wars finds that feeling again, not nostalgia, not references, but real storytelling, real memorable characters that we can cheer for, real bad guys that we can sympathize yet hate, it'll always just kind of feel off.